This program features live coverage of an African safari and may include animal kills and carcasses. Viewer discretion is advised.
Welcome to another spectacular and somewhat chilly sunrise out here in the vast African wilderness, where everything the light will touch will be part of our traverse area one day. This is Safari Live.
Ready. Standing by.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You are live, you are live. Very good morning to all of you and welcome on our sunrise safari. My name is Jamie and this morning Senzo is on camera with me, and boy oh boy do we have an exciting sunrise safari planned for all of you. We're coming to you live from a place called Djuma Private Game Reserve, which is in the Greater Kruger National Park area of South Africa, right up in the top northeastern corner, in a reserve that stretches all the way from Hazy View in the south right up to Mozambique, Zimbabwe in the north. So a very, very special place and quite a large chunk of our country. Now, because this is a live safari, it means that you can send through your questions and your comments on hashtag Safari Live on Twitter. I have a feeling that this morning's drive is going to be a little bit of a bizarre one. For those of you that missed the pre-show, just quickly, we're having some gremlin issues. We've been trying to fight them off. James is fighting them off as we speak, which means Taylor and I are flying solo. Taylor hopefully is flying towards Cheetah Plains, where she should find some signal. I'm going to fly around quarantine. Actually, no, I'm not. I'm going to bumble around quarantine in first gear for the duration of your sunrise safari. And you never know. We could just as easily get lucky here as we could anywhere else. And maybe, just maybe, we'll have signal at the hyena den. I'm hoping for that as well. And I'm thinking, since it's cold this morning, it is a little bit chilly. Since it's cold this morning, they might decide to come out and sunbathe. And the Dwarf Mongoose might as well. All in all, it's going to be an exciting time. I think we should go and look at the rutting Impala quickly, since they might actually form the basis for our story this morning, as they have in recent past. Now, apparently it's not that cold. So the story goes at 63 degrees Fahrenheit, which is 17 in centigrade. Not sure I buy that. I think it's a little bit colder than that. Or maybe I've just forgotten what cold is. I mean, Rollo, who is very English, is sitting in shorts. So, you know, it's all in the mind. Right, Impala, what have you got to say for yourselves? Where is going to be the best place? I think here, because they're just going to race around and around. There goes the rutting male, the dominant male of this area. Oh, here comes another one on the right. Oh, they've got two here. Do you know what I've worked out? Interesting fun fact for the morning. When we start our vehicles or move close to a male impala at the moment, they go into that territorial call. It sparks it off in them. It's really interesting. If we get close enough that they feel the need to move ever so slightly away from us, as soon as we do that, it triggers that response. And it just goes to show how ingrained that instinct is right now. That something like a vehicle, I mean, no, it works sometimes with things like red-crested corehorns. If you start your vehicle, they do their flight display. It doesn't work so well with our Land Rover engines because they're petrol, so it doesn't actually apply so much. Lions do it. Start your vehicle, they roar. Not always, obviously, but when they are at that state of mind where they're going to go about their territorial business. So it demonstrates that this instinct is deep. It runs so deep within these animals. Not that we needed an example of that. Poor female is just dashed off, accompanied by all the young ones who have the similar thing in their mind but are not viewed by a threat by the males, obviously. And they go dashing across quarantine. There's the poor female off on the right, who's the one that's being chased. And that's the male walking towards the female. There she... Oh no, that's not. My mistake. That's another male. Lost track of where the female went. The Impala have heard something that I haven't. Not those ones. They're distracted. What have you heard, Impala? Okay. Let's go watch these. Oh, here comes the female back again, racing away from the young ones. Here she comes, Senzo. She's gonna... Oh, hello. That's what the Impala have heard. Good morning. And where have you been in my life? You see? Ha-ha. Hello, gorgeous. Where are you on your way to? What a nice surprise you are. Strolling along, kind of ignoring the Impala. There you go, spotted hyena surprise. Told you, just got to sit in the middle of quarantine and wait for the animals to come to us. The relief in Megan's voice is positively palpable. Should we follow this hyena for a little bit? I think we should. Maybe it's on its way towards camp. I don't think so, though. Where are you going? Where do you lot disappear to in the middle of the day? So that explains the attention I was seeing on the Impala's faces. That alertness. Okay, what I don't want to do is get too close, because otherwise this hyena will break into an effortless trot, and that effortless trot will take it away from us. Here it goes. I just need to do some chatting on the Game Drive comms. I'll be with you in a sec while you watch this hyena. Morning, Tal and myself, one Missy Mobile North on quarantine, and we are limited to driving around quarantine this morning. Tal has gone towards Cheetah Plains. Let's go, Sims, before it gets too far. Sorry, Megs, what was that name? Olga? You want to know? Oh, there it goes. Now we're loping. Olga, you want to know, do we know who this is? I'm not 100% sure. It looks like a young-ish one. Now we've got to try and catch up with it. Those of you who've had a chance to look at your screenshots and are not distracted by all of the goings-on, you can send through which hyena that was. I have my suspicions, but I want to just double-check with all of you first. You can send those through on hashtag Safari Live on Twitter. I know there's those of you out there who are on it already. You'll be letting us know very shortly, I'm sure. It's a little bit more tricky when you... Where are we running to? Where are we going? Why are we going so fast? There go the Impala. Watch them scatter. There they go. Okay, this hyena is about to take us where we cannot follow. Okay, hold on. Let's go. This is why we don't follow... Oh, hyenas. Sorry, Senegal Lapwings. It's why we don't follow hyenas. Because it's almost impossible. It's like following wild dogs, except there's one. Oh, there it goes. It's gonna vanish. Hold on. And this is about as far as I can go, I'm afraid. It's going straight towards the Gallagher shortcut den. Interesting. Oh, there it goes. Oh, how far can I go, Megs? Shout if I'm losing signal. Is it going to turn up this road? Yes, it is. It's going straight towards the Gallagher shortcut den. Sorry, everybody, bumping along. Yo, they're fast. And that is totally effortless. That sloped back means that that hyena can continue that pace all night. Look at this. Look how fast it's going. I'm speeding in, basically should be in third gear, but I'm in second. Alright. Signal's holding up. I know when we hit the dip it's going to vanish. Are you going towards the Gallagher shortcut den? I'm not following you, I promise. Oh, Distraction. See, so it's not us chasing the hyena, for those of you that were concerned. Not at all. Immediately distracted by a smell. Oh, there it comes back again. Distracted by a smell, now racing off towards the Galago shortcut den. I wonder. Have our hyenas moved their den site back to Galago shortcut? Could there be new cubs in the making? Who knows? Alright, once this hyena goes into the dip that's in front of us, that'll be the end of us, I'm afraid. Not the end of us. It will be the end of our signal temporarily. Cool. Meg says we're okay so far. Alright, Megs, then if it's okay with you, we're going to follow it right up until the dip. And then we'll stop. Oh, we're running again. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Quick, quick, before we vanish. And it vanishes. I want to follow it. I want to find out if it goes to Galago shortcut. We're just lucky it's on a road. How are we doing, Megs? Shout if I must stop. What you seen? What you seen? Aren't we glad we followed it? See, now it's stopped. Beautiful. See that slight sway to the back legs? That crosswalk. Everything about these animals is built for stamina. They can reach pretty high top speeds. But really, it's about being able to trot all night long. Hot to trot. Okay, that's... Now I'm feeling a bit iffy about this. I'll stop here. Crystal, what was the name? A suspected male called? Kyla. Oh, Kyla. Alright, okay, so apparently this is a suspected male called Kyla. And the reason we say suspected is because we don't always have the best opportunities to sex the hyenas, and sometimes they give us a little bit of a surprise. Ribbon. So, I think this one, if it is a male, the trip to the den could still be possible because the males will pay visits to den sites to socialize with the females. I'm going to try and follow it through the dip and see what happens. But I think that while I do that, if it's alright with Megs, I'm going to bounce you across to Taylor, who hasn't had an opportunity to say good morning.
Almost got it, but I didn't. And Pride of Lions sitting in the grass. Nope, not today, just a Pride of Impala. Close, almost the same thing. I can see why I got confused. We're not. Oh my gosh, this is so beautiful. What do you think? Do you think we should do it here? Or do you want to go to the pan over there and do it with the water?
Let's do it some water.
Okay, I'm going to go quickly because it's going to come up. Here we go.
Oh, well, that's all going marvelously. Taylor unfortunately couldn't hear Megs. We apologize for that. I did say at the beginning of the drive, the gremlins have struck. I just tried to speak and swallow at the same time, so I'm choking myself and the hyenas vanished. Hey! I'm impressed we had signal though, and that Megan could actually come to us. Just goes to show. Sometimes we do get strokes of luck, like a hyena running across quarantine. Right, where have you gone, mister? Oh, he's vanished. Oh, right, wonderful news. I'm going to check the Galago shortcut den, and Taylor has comms again.
Are we live? Oh, right, we are live. Hello, everybody. Right, that's where we are. We're having a bit of a comms problem this morning, as you may have picked up. But my name is Taylor, and on camera with me today, fresh and back to work, is Ferg. And there he is. And we're very excited, of course, to bring you this live safari. Now, some of you are probably wondering, where on earth is this pride of lions that you were talking about? There were none. I basically just put out to the universe that as we came around the corner, I would have loved to have seen a pride of lions laying on the open area, basically, but I did not. I did not see a pride of lions, which is quite sad. What have you seen, Ferg? You want me to stop? Ferg wants me to stop right here, and I will do whatever Ferg wants today. Is this fine? Do you want me to go nose to the water? We're setting up a shot for you this morning. Is that right? Further forward. Look how beautiful this view is. And this is the first time that I have arrived at Cheetah Plains very, very early in the morning to catch the sunrise. So I hope that you're going to enjoy it. The birds are chatting, so I'm just going to sit quietly just for a moment. Now, Megan, I don't know if you can still hear me. Can I please do a communication test with you, just to make sure that I can still hear you? I feel like that's a negative. But it is beautiful out here this morning. Literally, the sun is just about to pop up over the horizon. I'm hoping that we're going to hear the rasping of a leopard or the roar of a lion. Even the trumpet of an elephant will do today. And well, it's going to be quite exciting to be here first thing in the morning. Isn't that just absolutely gorgeous? Now, we've actually arrived a little bit too early. As you can see, it's just starting to get redder and redder. I think I can hear a lion actually calling really far, far away, maybe on the southern boundary of Mala Mala. It was exceptionally far away. I think there were also some southern ground hornbills calling this morning, which would be nice to see if we can find them. Now, Megan, if I am still alive and if you can hear me, you won't be able to communicate with me on my mobile device because I have no cell phone reception. But it is absolutely spectacular out here today. If I had to choose where I could be in the world, and anybody said to me that you could be anywhere you wanted to, and I could just snap my fingers, I would still choose to be exactly where I am right now. There is very, very little that can compare to start your day with a day like I'm having right now. Watching the sunrise, listening to hornbills in the distance, quailias. Good company, of course. As Ferg says, I completely forgot I'm hopeless. Where are my manners? The greatest company.
Right.
All we need now, Ferg, is a cup of hot chocolate or coffee or tea. That would have been lovely. Maybe a freshly baked croissant with some butter, some jam.
Have you called up the waitering service?
I have, yes. I have called up the waitering service. They'll be here in about 15 minutes, I think. So just as the sun has risen, I think we'll have it. And of course, we're just being ridiculous. Unless we could train the Impalas, of course, to brew us a good old pot of coffee. I don't think anybody out here is willing to make us anything. So the lodge is not too far. We could always just claim we have a flat tire. But of course not. But here we go. Finally, the long wait is over for the sunrise, as it is just peering over. And I'm so glad that finally I've managed to make it to Cheetah Plains to watch the sunrise, because it is so beautiful here. It's so open. Normally whenever we have sunrises, of course, if you stop on Zoe's Road, that's one of my favorite spots with the mist. You can look down into the valleys on Djuma. But I think this is going to be my goal now, is to race to Cheetah Plain very early and try out different spots for a sunrise. How does that sound, Ferg?
Amazing.
Hopefully we won't have too many cloudy days. Otherwise that will be a little bit strange. Now, if you have just joined us, this is indeed a live interactive safari. At the moment I do not have communication with Final Control, so I won't be able to answer any of your questions, but please send them in anyway, and as soon as we get comms back with the directing team, I shall answer your questions, so you can hashtag Safari Live on Twitter. That is the only way to get hold of us. And I hope that you're all taking loads and loads of screenshots, because this is just fantastic. And even as we sit here, I'm just scanning around, hoping that a leopard is going to come walking through the long grass, which one hasn't yet, otherwise I would have showed you, I promise. But I did see some tracks behind me, which I will get out and investigate once we have watched the sun rise. We're almost there. There are lots of strange noises in the distance this morning too. Oh, that's a hyena that I'm hearing. That's very far away. That's in the Kruger National Park somewhere. And I suppose on these cooler mornings, sound does travel a little bit further. That's great. Absolutely spectacular. And this is one of my favorite things, is watching the sunrise and sunset, and I always used to get up extra early to ensure that my guests, when taking them on safari, at least got to experience one of each, if not every single morning and every single afternoon. That's, of course, if the weather was playing along and it wasn't too cloudy and preventing us from seeing the sun. We know how often that actually happens out here. But this morning, nature was kind to us. Very, very kind. Are we still live, Ferg? Okay, wonderful. So we're communicating via mobile phones at the moment. Luckily, Ferg has got signal. The gremlins are horrible. Jamie had that hyena. We've heard one calling. Let's go back to Jamie and see how her morning is treating her.
No hyena, I'm afraid to say, but oh, there was a woodpecker. The woodpecker is now gone. It was a bearded woodpecker, and I was so looking forward to telling you about its territorial hammering. So it was busy tapping on the wood, not to get at the insects underneath, but to actually mark its territory. So it's like a bird call, except in the form of tapping on wood. And the males and females were doing it. But our streak of luck on quarantine continues. Listen to this. Listen over there. Can you hear that? Megs, can you hear it? What is that, everybody? What bird is that? I think we should go find them. That's what I think. In the sunrise, it'll be beautiful. We've been seeing them a lot recently. Cool. Pretty sunrise. Apparently you've all got amazing desktop backgrounds now of the rising sun. Very pretty. Very, very pretty morning. Nice time to just take in the sounds. Yep, Rachel's spot on. It is in fact a ground hornbill, and it's probably that group of 7 that's been on quarantine recently quite a lot. I'm excited about that. I think we should go and have a look in a little bit. You can hear the spur fowls calling as well. I heard a woodpecker also calling, and grey go-away birds. So the birds are up and out in full force. Let's go have a look at one of the largest ones. I want to deafen you with the sound of my vehicle though. I'll just give Sens a minute to turn down the mic. Good to go? Cool. Alright. Madison, you say that your favorite bird is a ground hornbill. I have to say I think mine is too. I don't know. It's a difficult one to choose. I was having this conversation with one of our younger viewers the other night, Lucy, who watches our show. And we were chatting about, because she's a very keen bird watcher, we were chatting about what her favorite birds are. And I was saying I think mine is the ground hornbill. So difficult to choose though. It really, really is. I mean, there's birds of prey that are extraordinary. I still really want to see a shoebill. I've never seen a shoebill before. They're such peculiar birds. Let me just stop and listen for a sec. I don't want to drive too close to them because they'll fly away. Okay, they're just here. Oh, can't wait. I hope they keep calling when we get there. It's one of the best sounds ever. I'm hoping our signal's going to hold up there. It should. It's on a crest. All these calculations happening in my head right now. I know it is cold, but it really is beautiful out here. Sun shining on dewy grass, everything's gold, smells delicious. Birds are singing. We've already seen a hyena. Oh, and I see our beautiful birds. I also really like weavers in terms of the bird family. I don't know, there's something touching about their industriousness in building their nests, and then it doesn't work, so they build the next one, and it doesn't work, and they build the next one. I sat and watched the weaver outside my mom's flat in Johannesburg build a nest over and over and over again. Okay, there's several in one tree. Let's go slower here. Nice and slow, so we don't scare them. Oh, it's touch and go. Let's have a look at those ones, Sens, in that tree there, because those are the ones that are calling. Let me sit quietly for a second and you can hear. Now, Rachel, you say the ground hornbill has such a deep, low call. It does, doesn't it? We'll just sit and listen for a bit. We're in no rush this morning. There's a juvenile over there. Who needs a radio in the morning when you've got sounds like this? We don't need to blast music when we get up in the morning. We've got the sounds of the animals to wake us up. So this is a group of 7, family of 7, a family with a dominant male, or an adult male, an adult female, and then a collection of their offspring of differing ages. There's one very young one, or relatively young one. I'd put it maybe there. I think that's it there on the right. Is that the young one? Oh, it's a youngish one. You can see that flap of red skin isn't fully developed, but there is an even younger one in this mix. And that's what hornbills do. Cooperative breeders. The males and the females of their previous offspring will stick around, and as I said, regardless of whether it's a male or a female, it's not a gender related thing. They'll stay for years with their parents and help them out with the previous set of offspring, in a way similar to what jackal do. Jackal do something quite similar as well, although not for as long. But a set of cubs will, oh sorry, not cubs, pups, naughty Jamie, jackal pups will stay and help their parents, and you get these beautiful little families that develop. Oh, I'd love to show you jackal pups. But anyway, we're straying off topic. For those of you that are new to these live safaris, these beautiful, beautiful birds are endangered, and that's why we record each and every sighting of them. Some of them are tagged for research purposes and monitoring purposes, and just trying to get an idea of their population, and also, quite frankly, to understand a little bit more about them, because that goes a long way in conserving a species. Understanding of a species will mean that we know how best to go about saving it, whether it be wild dogs, leopards, or birds like these ground hornbills. They're very big birds. They're roughly the size of turkeys, and those, perhaps some of you have had experiences in the Kruger Park where the hornbills have come up and attacked your vehicle. Some of the hornbills in the Kruger have got so comfortable with people that they do exactly what their smaller cousins do, the yellow-billed and the red-billed hornbills, that attack their own reflection in vehicles, whether it's side mirrors or on the side of the vehicle itself. And ground hornbills do the same thing, and I know a couple of people with interesting new scratches in their paintwork and some very lovely stories to tell about it. If you're going to have your car scratched, I guess it might as well be from one of these chaps. That works to their disadvantage though, because they move into areas around reserves and they smash people's windows of their houses, or the schools, or the community buildings. And as a result, that doesn't tend to make them all that popular in places where there's very little money floating around as it is. And that's one of the reasons for the decline in numbers. There's quite a few though. Loss of habitat is a big one. Poaching is another one. And quite frankly, their very slow reproductive strategy, kind of like pandas. And pandas are not easy things to get to breed, especially in captivity, as scientists well know. They show a degree of reluctance. And ground hornbill, it's not that they're reluctant to breed, but let's say the preferred nest site of this couple is destroyed. Maybe an elephant walks past, maybe it's struck by lightning, which is something I've seen before. I saw a ground hornbill's nest site get struck by lightning, and after that they didn't use it. It takes them a long time to find a new and appropriate spot, and a long time could be a year, easily, or 2 years even, before they decide, okay, we can't nest there, we'd best go elsewhere. Oh, it seems as though we're having an endangered bird day. Taylor did have some ground hornbills, but apparently they disappeared. Let's go and hear that thrilling tale from her side.
I'm alive. Okay, very interesting. We had communication with Megan, and then conveniently we just lost it. The gremlins are not my friend today, and they are going to be reprimanded severely when I get back to Djuma. But yes, we've made it around to the open plains now, and the sun is just sort of, well, shining its lovely golden light on everything, and hopefully with all this nice light it's going to illuminate a cheetah, maybe a leopard, maybe a big male lion, as I just saw some big male lion tracks just a moment ago behind us, but unfortunately they go into the Kruger National Park. They actually looked very fresh, so I don't know how far behind we were of that male lion. It couldn't have been the one that we heard roaring, because that sounded very, 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 very far away. We also saw some southern ground hornbills, which are now flying that way, which is very disappointing. They were actually quite close to us, and now they've changed direction. There looks to be about 5 of them. The white.
Oh, sorry about that, everybody. It seems as though Taylor's disappeared, but your timing's impeccable, because there goes our flock of ground hornbill on their way to start their day. Are they going to land on the ground or in a tree is the next question. Oh, here comes oh, that's beautiful, Senzo. Now, Senzo used to work in live sport filming, and what that means is that he has got an impeccable ability to follow things as they're moving. Really, truly impressive. Whether it be birds or running antelope. Exceptional at it. Practice makes perfect. Yes, Senzo. Especially with something bigger than a golf ball. Dog! Dog, 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 dog! I'm sure I just saw a dog. Did I imagine that? Did I just imagine that? Dog, 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 dog! This is crazy! Oh, smell them. Where's it gone? Where's it gone? Where's it gone? Where's it gone? Hold on, everybody, we're going round. Wild dogs! Hey, see, we do just have to sit on quarantine and the luck comes to us. Where have you gone? Is it just one? I can only see one. Well, I only saw one. Where'd you go? Let's just stop for a second. We must be straggling. Come, let's go to the Impala. The Impala herd's right there. So weird. From one endangered species to another, huh? I'm going to sit on quarantine more often. Okay, where have they gone? These Impala look suspiciously quiet and relaxed. Did I imagine a wild dog? Surely not. Surely I could not have imagined a wild dog. I mean, I'm tired, but that's ridiculous. But these Impala... No, but I could smell them. I could smell them. That's not possible. I can imagine a sight, but not a smell. Maybe the Impala haven't realized yet. I'm going mad. Behind us! There we go. I'm not going mad! Thank goodness! Station's visual of one Madach on Gallagher Shortcut. Oh, Madach on Gallagher Shortcut Junction Access Road. Hey, yeah. Okay, let's sit here. Let's sit here. They're going to come for these Impala. They're going to come for these Impala. Hello. We can't move now, Sen. Sorry, I know it's not comfortable. We're just going to have to sit here. Hey. Phew. Look, there's Impala. I haven't even seen them. This is very cool. Look at that hunting posture. Look at that hunting posture. Ears flat down. They've seen the Impala. The Impala haven't seen them. This is going to be incredible. FM tax, Fago Jumbo. They've got the Mala in their sights here. The Mala haven't realized. Just come to the sort of western side of quarantine. But come along Voyatel access. They've been spotted. What are you guys waiting for? Come on. You've got the advantage of speed. How's this, everybody? Insane. Standing by, Lex? Oh, okay, we're going to sit down and have a rest. AFM Lex, what's your position? Okay, copy. I'll keep you updated. They're static for now. So cool. So cool. Oh, I'm so glad I didn't imagine that. You have no idea the relief I'm feeling right now. And the excitement. Megs, I'm really sorry. My comms are terrible. Just hold on 1 second. Standing by. This is where it turns into chaos. It's trotting off. Morning, my Dutch on Voitila Access, Gallagher Shortcut Junction 1's just got mobile towards Gallagher Pan. Tax, can you take over control of the sighting for me? Okay. How awesome is this? Okay, we need to... Megs, Senzo can't actually do anything until I've moved. Okay. Let me just get out of Taxon's way as well. Oh, we're still looking at the back of the vehicle. Sorry about that, everybody. There we go. Look at this. This is such magic. I wonder if they're just sitting waiting for the Impala to come through.
Jackson, I think it was Chris just reporting on...
Big yawn. Oh, that's awesome. I'm so excited. For our new viewers, these are probably the most exciting animals that we see out here. They are so incredibly fast and beautiful, and also critically endangered. There's only about maybe just under 200 of them on the reserve that we're on, and probably less than 4,000 left in the wild throughout the whole of Africa. So sightings like these are really, really special. And the fact that they're still, for now, gives us an extraordinary opportunity to sit and observe them in the sun. Now, Cedar Point, I mentioned earlier that I could smell them. You want to know what do they smell like? Like wet, very, very dirty dog. And some might describe that as an unpleasant scent. There's the third one, back again. Some might describe that as a really revolting scent. I don't feel that way at all. Because of what I associate that smell with, I love it. They smell like wet, musky, dirty dogs. And it's the best smell in the world. Especially when you think you're imagining things, let me tell you. You're sleeping. You guys sleepy. Have you moved far? Now, those of you with screenshots of the Lower Sabi dispersal pack, I'm a bit worried. Not worried about this dog. I'm just a bit confused by its body language. Flopped down ears. Initially, it was the one that was leading the hunt. I wonder if it's just still listening to what's going on around it. It's got a funny posture. Do you see what I mean? Sort of hunched over. I suspect this is the Lower Sabi dispersal pack. Might just be resting. Oh, they've caught this. Impala have caught the smell. Dogs are looking up. There we go. Now that dog's absolutely fine. Look, alert posture again. How about now? You were wondering why the Impala haven't smelt them. Purely because of the wind. It's the wind. The wind is blowing the scent of the Impala towards the wild dogs and not the other way around. So it's not likely that they've picked up, or unless the wind twirls or circles. Every now and again one of them gets a whiff of it though. But they've come from downwind of the Impala, which is good for them. I'm not quite sure why they're not going for them, unless it's just because... No, there we go. See? There we go. They're so close. That is very typical hunting posture. Please take screenshots for me, everybody. I don't have a camera with me. There they go, there they go. They're up. They're ambushing them. They're sneaking up on them. Here they go. Okay, get ready, Sens, go wide. Everybody on? You good? Sorry, everybody. Hold on, everybody. Dogs are off. They're so fast. Jumping up and down to see where the rest of the pack's gone, and they've missed. Done. You guys all okay? Cool. I've still got 2 passengers on the back, which is wonderful. Hey, that was awesome. But unfortunately, dogs not lucky. They missed their opportunity, and now they've got to try again. It's nothing like the excitement of a wild dog chase first thing in the morning. Who said that scared them, Megs? Alison, you say that scared you. That sudden chase. We also did a rather rapid bump. Okay, we're going to let Tax go ahead for now. Alright. Here we go. Ah, that's so cool. Which way are we going to go, doggies? Okay, we're going to go that way. Can you believe what a morning we've had? Wild dogs, hyena. And I said to you this morning, buckle up, it's going to be an exciting ride. I was being sarcastic, but it turned out to be true. Okay, they're going to disappear soon. Okay, they're gone. Let's go. They're off again. There they go, racing along. This is where it gets tricky, everybody. They're going to go down towards the dam. Squirrel's going mental. Go, Lex, go. Yeah, go for it. Hold on. This is going to be such an epic shot in the sunlight. Look at this. Look at it. Oh, it's beautiful. Golden light, golden dogs. Fluffy white tail. Morning sunlight. A recipe for a beautiful morning. Now, if they continue on, unfortunately, given our situation, we will lose signal, unfortunately. But Justin, you say such a beautiful coat. I know, right? The painted dog, or the painted wolf. The painted wolves are off, and so are we, but oh no, into the Mulwanini. I mean, not the Mulwanini, the Mulwati. I'm sorry, everybody. We're going to disappear off your screen shortly. Oh, poor Senzo and Rollo having their bones rattled this morning. They've raced into the drainage line of the Mulwati. There they go, in front. There we go. Awesome. Well done, Sensor. There they go. Absolutely epic. There they go. Awesome. How lucky are we? Their coats are so utterly gorgeous. All of those splodges of colour. And the speed with which they move. Their constant stamina, their constant movement. Well, they've been viewed as a pest. As trouble, as vermin, for the last century. And it's only in the past few decades that people have started to catch on to just how important these wild dogs are. Even the founders of Kruger, the reserve, saw these creatures as threats to wildlife. And they were to be removed from the area, carnivore extermination, so that the antelope species could recover. How we have... Who's on standby one for these, Madutch? Oh, you can make your way. Oh, what's your position? Alright, the reason that you'll hear me talking on the radio is to communicate with the other vehicles. There are lots of people interested. And because I know that we're going to lose signal very shortly, I'm going to give up my spot. Megs, you want one last shot? There we go. Oh! Or not. On that note, we're going to remove ourselves from the wild dogs for now. We'll send you over to Taylor. Oh no, wait. Wait, Megs, wait. There's one that's coming next to us. There it goes. There we go. Awesome. Did I catch you in time, Megs? Did I catch you in time, Meggy? Am I still alive? I did. Perfect. Okay. Alright, I know that the signal's going to vanish as soon as I go past this dead tree. From practice now of the last few days, let's go and have a look at Taylor, who is sunbathing on her relaxed morning.
We're live. Right, let's try this again. We were sitting with a dark chanting goshawk, which is a beautiful bird, and I have not seen one for a very long time. It was really quite amazing. It had perched itself up, I think it was a knobthorn, dead knobthorn that it was sitting on. It was really quite stunning, just with the sun directly behind it, which was really lovely. But then, of course, as birds do, and they never seem to hang around for a very long time. Oh, are you... I don't know. What are you doing, Ferg? Ferg's giving me guns now. I think he's wanting to be a cowboy. Did you listen to some country music while you were on holiday? No, so what we're going to do now is, because we're having issues with the communications, I'm going to go past where those leopard tracks last were, and we're just going to scan some roads that we haven't driven before. And hopefully... I really want to go past 3 in a row pan though, so let's go 3 in a row pan, which is just up ahead, and then from here we're going to start heading back towards Djuma. Just unfortunately I don't have any communication, as you may have figured out, We'll need to get that sorted. But how exciting with Jamie. We've got wild dogs. That's pretty spectacular. And I'm really happy for Jamie this morning because we were just chatting before we left on safari how the two of us haven't had much luck when it came to the animals, and it always goes in waves. Some days the animals are drawn to your presence, other days they're repelled by your presence. And well, Jamie today seems to be a magnet, which is fantastic, so I'm so happy for him. Smiling. I'm going to just talk like this and smile at the same time because I'm that happy. Sadly, no quarantine, sitting in a big marula tree around 3 in a row pan today, which is a bit sad because it's always quite nice to find him in this area, especially with this lovely light, the dew on the grass. It would have been magical. Well, that's alright. But you can see we are going a little bit on the quick side this morning, just because I love to get back where the action is all happening, and the action seems to be happening. Oh my goodness, here's the leopard tracks we were looking for. Yes. Right. They're not old. I'm just going to jump out. If you have a look over here, I think that... Whose tracks are these? Let's look at this one over here. Have I put my hand next to it? Not a particularly large track. I have a suspicion that these are Votomi's footprints. I don't think that these are female leopard tracks. I think that these look like young male leopard tracks that have been walking around here, and he's known to walk around in this area too. Too small to be quarantines. Quarantines will be almost double that size. I'm just thinking, because we came from that side and we didn't see any leopard tracks. We did, however, smell leopard urine at one point. We're going to have to turn back. We're going to have to go back around and see where these tracks go very quickly, because they're quite fresh. They're not very old, I reckon. Probably only an hour behind. And I'll also call them in on the radio. Now, see, Mike had said he had tracks on Central, but I don't know whereabouts on Central. Central's a very long road. We haven't got there just yet. So I'm just going to try and keep an eye out now. They were going along this side of the road, so I shall stop at the junction again. They could have quite easily veered off. They just were a little bit too bulky to be a female leopard's tracks. They'll be a little bit finer than that. That's why I'm going with Votomi. And the last time I saw his footprints, they weren't particularly big either, which could be quite confusing. Let's have a look here. Let's see if anybody came and had a drink. That would be a good idea. Now, nice soft mud, so we should quite easily be able to see. There are lots and lots of pans that this leopard could have come to drink from though over here. So I'm just going to keep my head focused firmly on the ground so that I don't miss any signs that a leopard could have perhaps passed by here, because I would love to see a spotted cat. I've not seen a cat in ages now. It's been a drought, which is quite sad. Let's check here. See, we have all the pans. No footprints, and this relatively soft and sort of muddy, so it would be quite easy to spot a leopard track. Now, however, the substrate that we're going over at the moment is almost impossible to spot a leopard track, so we'll just go up ahead again where the sand becomes a little bit softer. Let's see. But these could also be very different tracks from the ones that Mike had. To me, this just seems a little bit more like Votomi. He likes it around here. Sort of 3 in the row pan back towards Cheetah Plains pan, and then even further towards Buff pan. Let's see. Come on, footprints. Now, if we don't have tracks here, I don't know where he's gone. He could have gone elsewhere. Let's see. This is nice soft sand. I'm actually going to jump out and you can all just follow me around while I quickly survey the area. Let's quickly check. This ground is really not the greatest, unfortunately, for tracking, so it does make it a little bit difficult. But even if we can just see one toe, one pad, something along those lines, that would be fantastic. There's lots of hippo tracks going down here though. Might be a bit difficult to see, but there's definitely a monster hippo footprint going that way. Obviously out and about looking for yummy grass to eat last night. I thought I just heard an alarm call from an antelope. Keep an eye out that way. No tracks going here, and the sand is nice and soft, so you would quite easily see a leopard footprint. Now that means, if we haven't got anything here, potentially that leopard has veered off and taken an animal route elsewhere. There's a hyena track, also quite fresh, but very difficult to see because it's on the hard substrate, so just looking at a very small sign of it, just the nails in the ground and the back pad. This leopard has not walked here. Let me check. Last intersection. Let's just check here, just to make sure. No. Very, very hard. Okay. I think that leopard has actually veered off and gone back that way because there is no evidence coming through here, and it really, really is good tracking substrate in some spots. And we've driven around those areas quite a bit, so I don't know how lucky we will be. Well, we circled them and hopefully we'll be able to follow up on them, I think maybe a bit late this afternoon. Good. Let me just turn my radio on because there's a bit of chatter, game drive radio. Maybe someone's found something. Oh, now the ground is nice and soft. Perfect for looking for tracks. How are we going, Ferg? We still on air? Sure we are. Oh, wonderful. Megan, I love the sound of your voice. I can hear you. That is wonderful. That's the first time I've heard Megan for ages. I thought it was a voice coming from the heavens. Wonderful. I'm so happy. Yay. Well, that's great. We'll keep quickly just having a look around here because there's, of course, opportunities that this leopard could have come down this way too. However, I think that they've gone back into those thickets, sort of back towards Cheetah Plains Pan. But we were there first thing this morning and we didn't hear any rasping of leopards or anything along those lines. Megan, now that I can hear you, may I please ask where Jamie's wild dogs are? Because that's fantastic. Wonderful. I was just quickly getting an update, of course, where the wild dogs were, because I didn't hear the entire time where Jamie had them. But how fantastic for all of you. I'm not sure which pack it was. Maybe the sand pack, or maybe there's those 3 that have broken away from one of the packs. Oh, okay, very nice. So you do think it was the sand pack. Lovely. They're a great group of dogs too. And we've got that male that's quite old and, the breakaway, so the small group. Okay. So no, one thing I would like to do is hopefully see the sand pack sometime soon again, so we can sort of just check up on the sort of the lead male in the pack, the dominant boy, because he was looking a little bit worse for wear. He was quite tattered, if you noticed last time. He'd been fighting with most likely another wild dog, and that's what they do. As they get older, they do scrap amongst themselves within the pack, because someone eventually will have to take over. He definitely had an issue with his eye, whether it was a claw, something that got in there. It didn't look too great, and he was also salivating quite a bit. I wonder if he didn't have an injury near his mouth somewhere that caused them. But I think what we're going to do now is we're going to start heading back towards Djuma, try our luck around there. It seems to be a bit quiet on Cheetah Plains this morning, but let's go back across onto Jamie's vehicle and see if the adrenaline from the dogs is still buzzing.
And the adrenaline is still pumping indeed. I thought I needed some quiet time, and I thought, well, since I seem to be on a lucky streak, maybe if I come to the hyena den, we'll have some luck here. Unfortunately, it appears as though, at least for now, my luck has run out. Can't believe that. Hyena running across quarantine, wild dogs running across quarantine. It's not bad in a morning's work, considering I can't actually leave quarantine. Sorry, Megan, what? I see. Taylor said that I am an animal magnet this morning. Well, let's hope that continues and we don't have the rest of the sunrise safari. Because now, of course, the wild dogs have come through quarantine, so that means the impala are probably gone. Interestingly enough, and Lex and I just had this conversation, those impala, not the impala that they were hunting, but impala a little bit further along where we left the dogs, were alarm calling. Now, typically, that's not what happens. Impala don't have time to alarm call at wild dogs. They run. Now, I don't know if they were alarm calling at the dogs perhaps at a distance, so they felt safe enough to alarm call and to alert everything else, or if there was something else in the area. And I picked up on very fresh hyena tracks. Again, impala, as you saw this morning, don't really alarm call at hyena, but perhaps a running hyena, a flash of spots might have provoked that alarm call. But you never know. It could also be a leopard that we didn't realize was there. So I'm going to go and check around that side. But now I've tied myself in a knot here. I don't know how I'm going to get there. And there we go. Skip, our 11-year-old viewer from Texas, 12-year-old viewer, sorry. Skip would like to know if hyenas and wild dogs will avoid each other or if they interact with each other. It very much depends on numbers. So wild dogs and hyenas vie for that second and third spot on the predator hierarchy. Just above them is the lion, of course. And what sometimes happens is a hyena with 3 wild dogs could potentially challenge them, because hyenas are bigger and stronger than wild dogs, so could potentially challenge them if they did get something to eat. So hyenas will follow wild dogs. They'll try and stay out of their way, but they will follow them because they know that during the course of a morning like this morning, those wild dogs will catch something, whatever it may be, and then there's always the potential for scraps. However, sometimes the table turns and the wild dogs have the advantage of numbers, and we've had more than one sighting where a hyena has been quite badly attacked by wild dogs. I think it happens more often than we realize. I actually think the hyenas are quite used to it. But when the wild dogs have lots and lots of numbers on their side, they can actually potentially kill a hyena. But what the hyena will do is it'll find let's find a good example. It'll find a good bush, like the one that's coming up over here, and it will back into something like this. Bottom first, so that the rear end is protected, and its strong, powerful, crushing jaws are the bit that the wild dogs have to face. Because otherwise what wild dogs do is they go for the bottom. And there's some amazing footage of wild dogs snapping and nipping at a hyena's hindquarters. And hyenas, when they run away from wild dogs like that, how do I describe this? It looks as though their hind legs are trying to escape from, or get in front of their front legs. So they kind of, they barrel, and it's like they're trying to tuck their bottoms under their heads to get them out of the way, and they race like that with their bottoms tucked under. It's actually quite entertaining to watch, but then you start to feel sorry for the hyena, of course. But if you objectively look at it, if you remove the whole situation, what's actually happening, the way that a hyena runs away from wild dogs is comical. Now what? I've stuck myself in a Bermuda Triangle. Megs, I'm sorry, I'm just going to have to race through Philemon's Dip. There's nothing I can do. I literally, there's nothing I can do. There's nowhere I can go where I'm going to have signal. So I'm just going to have to race through Philemon's and hope it comes up in time. Oh, good news. Taylor is up and running, so while I go through a bad signal dip, let's go over to her.
Are we live? Oh, hello. We are live. Okay, no, the comms is not improved at all. I don't know why I've got such terrible communication today. I promise I'm not trying to avoid any of you. I'm just looking at all sorts of footprints at the moment that have been left on the road from last night. There's been plenty of hyena activity. Now, I did hear lots of hyena. That was the only thing I actually heard calling last night. No lions, no leopards soaring, nothing along those lines. So that was... Where was that? That sounded also quite far away, maybe in Arathusa, possibly even in Buffelshoek. It didn't sound like they were fairly close on Djuma. But yes, so we are going to start, we are making our way now back home. Hopefully we'll get there in no time. It won't take us too long. Luckily, Gari Main is a main road. We are able to go a little bit faster, but also making sure that you're being careful and that you don't go too quickly, just at a good pace. And then I don't know what we're going to see. Let's hope that we can go and sit at WildEarthTV Dam and just herds and herds of elephants will come down like they did the other afternoon. If you all remember that, that was such a special sighting to have them come down like that. They were easy over 60. I still think at one point they could have been even more. Even close.
Sorry about that, everybody. Taylor has vanished off your screens, but luckily it gave me just enough time to find signal again myself. So, Taylor wants to go sit at WildEarthTV Dam. I'm happy with that. I'm going back in search of my ground hornbill. I got seriously distracted by the presence of those amazing wild dogs. And you've seen how brief a sighting can be with them. They're struggling to keep up with them. I'm listening to the radio at the same time. And that's the way that guides communicate with each other. They are seriously struggling to keep up. And that Lower Sabi dispersal pack moves constantly. Still so cool that we got to see them though. And I see Rollo looking with deep relief at the fact that his time lapse that he set up earlier is in fact still in place. His tripod with his ball of GoPros, because between the hyena and the racing antelope, it could have been touch and go. But it's okay, Rollo, all is well. It's still standing. Okay. Megs, I'm struggling too with comms. Please go again. I'm sorry. How about no, I think I've got this right. Megan sounds a little bit like she's underwater. But how about no, I think I've got your question right. You want to know, are Impala faster than wild dogs, for the wild dogs to have given up like that? Yes, they are a little bit faster. Wild dogs do have stamina. I think... Let me try and phrase this in a way that makes sense. I don't think we fully understand exactly how wild dogs hunt in areas like this, because we actually aren't able to keep up with them, and it's only with the drone. That's what I was looking for. Marvelous. We don't have now with the drone, we're able to follow and to have an idea of how they work. I don't think they necessarily always run their prey down, not in thick areas like this. Let me just finish this thought and then I'll show you the dwarf mongoose. Not in areas like this, where all they have to do is actually run through the vegetation and prey will present itself. In the open areas of Botswana, yes, they have to run their prey down. They have to exhaust it, because the prey is going to see them coming from miles away. But here, I don't think they bother too much with trying to keep up, because what's the point of wasting energy if you can just run to the next place and something's going to come popping out of the thick vegetation? That's my opinion anyway. Let's move on from big predators to little predators, and the smallest member of our carnivore family, and the mongoose family that is the most comfortable with us, I would say, both on foot and from the vehicle. And I can still hear our ground hornbill. Sens, sorry to distract you. Can we just come out from the dwarf mongoose for a second? They'll still be there. What on earth is digging over there at the base of that? Oh, it's a dwarf mongoose. I could just see there at the base of that fallen tree. Oh, there it's popped out. I could just see dirt flying everywhere. I was wondering what on earth it was. Right. Here he goes. Sure, there's a lot of mongoose here. There's that one over there, there's one at the back, and then if we go back to Mount Mongoose, I don't know if this is the actual Mount Mongoose of the old days, but it is certainly at the moment a mountain full of mongoose. How many have we got here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. That's 14, 15 in total that I've counted just very quickly. And this is exactly what I was aiming for. I figured if the sun was poking up over the horizon now, it was starting to get warmer, I figured these dwarf mongoose would be out and enjoying their sunbathing session. And look at the ones fighting at the bottom. Oh, back they've gone down into the hole. Alyssa, you want to know, will mongoose take over active termite dens, active termite mounds, or do they utilize only inactive ones? Look at these two. Oh, the dwarf mongoose sightings have been magic lately. Playful, playing with each other, chasing each other around. Sorry, Melissa. The answer to that is they usually utilize inactive ones. Nobody wants to get bitten by termites, not even a dwarf mongoose. Oh, look at this! They're having a proper game of chasing each other round and round the termite mound. One of them's doing some excavating as well. So they mostly utilize inactive ones. Sometimes what you get is you get them inhabiting an active termite mound, but an inactive part of that active termite mound. Does that make sense? Alright, there's a helicopter flying over. That's what you're hearing. There's very, very strict rules regarding helicopter usage, so it must be a helicopter on official business. But yes, so sometimes you get sections of a termite mound that aren't being used, but the termite mound is still active, and then you'll sometimes find dwarf mongoose in there as well. Look at these two, look at these three at the bottom there. Having a proper cuddle and shift around with each other. Now, Byron the other day got out of the vehicle and sat with the dwarf mongoose, and he got to get very close to them. I'm actually quite tempted to do it with this group because I've managed to get very, very close to them on foot before. It's a group of mongoose that's probably the most comfortable with us because, as you know, we often start our bushwalks, walking across quarantine, and there's always people wandering up and down during the day. I wonder whether or not it might be worth a try. It's something I often just fell off the left. It's quite a steep termite mound. The reason that we can get off on foot with them is that they're naturally curious animals, and if you sit quietly and patiently, they habituate quite quickly. I wonder it's not worth trying. This is such a gorgeous... There's one grabbing its tail. Rihanna, yes, it is true that fork-tailed drongos will steal food from mongooses. Typically, they actually have a relatively mutual beneficial relationship. The drongo is alert and his eye is a bit higher than the mongoose, and the drongo gets the scraps left behind. Now, the recorded relationship between drongo and meerkats is actually where it happens more often. In times of food shortage, the drongo will imitate, because the drongo is a great mimic, will imitate the call, oh, big stretch and a yawn, sharp little teeth showing, will imitate the call of a meerkat, an alarm call of a meerkat, and the meerkats will drop whatever they're carrying and they'll run, and then the drongo can swoop in and steal their food. And I'm sure it happens to the same, or I'm sure it happens with mongoose as well, just probably not as often or as regularly, because there's just more food here than there is in the more arid areas. It's not as hard to find something to eat. Dwarf mongoose actually have a far closer relationship with a different bird species called a yellow-billed hornbill, and to a lesser extent the red-billed hornbill. And they will actually wait for each other. So one pair of hornbill, or one group of hornbill, will associate with one group of dwarf mongoose. They will provide alarm calls and warning signs if there's something that could potentially be a threat to the mongoose, and vice versa, and then the hornbills get the scraps. And it gets to the point so much so where if the hornbills haven't shown up with certain groups, or there's recorded cases, if the hornbills haven't shown up, the dwarf mongoose wait, and if the dwarf mongoose sleep in, the hornbills will actually go and call down into the entrance of the termite mound to try and wake them up. That's how close the relationship is. There's a couple of little babies here. I'm sure you've noticed. That one on the right is a youngster. Bounce, bounce, bounce. Probably about, 6 weeks, 8 weeks old. Old enough to be accompanying the mongoose on their way out. Ali, you want to know if the mongoose will eat termites? Yes, absolutely they will. Especially if you've got a population explosion of alates, the reproductive members of the termite family that often occurs in summer. Look at these two scrapping. They're having so much fun. Sorry, hold on. Let's just stick with what's happening on our screen for now, and then I'll tell you about that. A mongoose wrestle. Young ones fighting each other, just like young elephants do, lion cubs do, leopard cubs do. Testing strength and practicing skills. Look how they use their tails to balance them when they stand on their hind legs like that. It's really cool. It gives you an idea of those needle-sharp teeth. But yes, when reproductive termites come out, they often blanket the ground in their extreme numbers. They come out in the thousands of tens of thousands. And absolutely, dwarf mongoose will come along and hoover that up, provided something else hasn't got there first, like a tawny eagle or even a hyena or a leopard. Everything makes use of those termites as a source of food. It's very, very important to help them gain their strength. Or everybody ducking for the safety of the holes, just in case that one mongoose that was running back was running from something. It pays to be cautious when you're only about 300 grams. Now, I've told you all about Goose, the mongoose that I raised. Well, partially looked after for a friend of mine. I didn't finish the job of raising her. But the one day, Goose was a banded mongoose. And she'd been taken because, I can't remember exactly what happened to her family, but she'd lost her family for some reason. And banded mongoose, like dwarf mongoose, are sociable creatures. It's very difficult to look back into camera right now. Very, very bright. And banded mongoose form very close attachments to the people that raise them. I'm sorry, we'll have to keep looking at the mongoose. It's too bright for me. It's far too bright. The sun's very, very bright this morning. And the one day I left Goose at home, wandering about, as she often did, and we were going to do I think we were collecting rocks to fix roads. And the baboons attacked the house that we were staying in and raided the dustbins and so on. And when I got back, Goose was utterly terrified, and she shot up my leg and curled herself up into my jacket. It was midwinter then as well. Curled herself up into my jacket, and she stayed there for probably about 5 hours, trembling. So it goes to show we don't think of baboons being a threat to mongoose, but they obviously are. There's obviously a natural fear there. So what do we think? Should we try this? Before I jump out and see whether or not these mongoose will let me get close to them, Red, you want to know if mongoose run the risk of drowning in their termite mounds if there's heavy rain. I suppose it does happen, especially if there's very young mongoose in the burrows, but I think it's highly unlikely. I think you'll find they've got tunnels and shelves that will put them out of the reach of the rain. Did you see something there, Sens? No. What do we got there? Mongoose. Hello. Well spotted, eagle-eyed Sensor. See? I bet we can get close to these ones. I think of all of them, this is probably the best bet. Hi, little one. What are you doing? How did you even get there? This is where termite mounds come in useful as well, or termite networks, because there's tunnels underneath the surface of the ground that run for meters and meters. So it's a really useful way of moving between places if you need to. Now, Jerry, you wanted to know what the interior of the dwarf mongoose termite mound looks like. I would guess and say that it has the same network of tunnels that the termites have used, but probably just broadened for the comfort of the mongoose. I know that they sleep in chambers all cuddled up together, not necessarily the entire family in one chamber, but certainly quite a few of them. All grouped together, keeping each other warm, particularly on these cold winter nights. Do you have a cobweb on your nose? Yes, you do. It's the one downside, huh? Can't be afraid of spiders if you're a dwarf mongoose. They're so often covered in cobwebs. I'm going to try it. You know what? I'm going to try it. This one's going to duck down as soon as I get out. And Sensor will just let me know if Megan wants a link or anything. As soon as I get out, whoops, where's my microphone gone? Oh no, it's there, safely tucked away. I nearly smashed it yesterday. I don't want to get into trouble. Now they're going to duck into their holes now, which is fine. Let's see how to gauge this. You know what I didn't think through? Wet ground. I'm just going to sit patiently for a second or two. I can already see heads popping out. Hey, little guys. Sensor, can you see the one at the bottom there? Cool. So now I'm not even going to look at them. Not even going to pay them that much attention. Gonna look elsewhere. Let's see. Hi guys. It's something that I've always wanted to spend time on. Habituating them to the point that we could actually follow them around on bushwalks. In the same way that they do when they film Meerkat Manor and all of those research projects. And people do, for research purposes, they do habituate mongoose to the point of getting to within a few meters and sometimes even to the point where they can be handled. Not that we would ever do this on these live safaris, because that would be for us rather than for the good of the animal. But for researchers it's actually quite important, because for researchers, by weighing them, they can actually test their urine, they can learn a little bit more about their reproductive cycles, they can weigh them, see how much their weight changes. There we go. They've now resumed their behavior almost completely normally. Babies are coming out. The ones are playing, you can't see them, but they're behind the termite mound playing. See? Space of a minute. And we've got them to come out. Including the babies. How lucky are we? Hi, little ones. Hi, little ones. Oh, but you're so cute. They're not even looking at me. Yo, I reckon this would be a very easy group to habituate. bet you, which I'm not going to do now, but I bet you if I sat here for half an hour, they'd be foraging around me. No bothers at all. As long as I sat still and didn't do too much moving or too much focusing on them, I'm pretty sure that we could get them right up to us. Hey, little chaps. Oh, they're playing and everything. It makes me feel okay about the whole process because you're not changing their behavior really in any way. They were in their termite holes for a minute and now they're back out sunbathing and playing. Okay. Just a test. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to turn my back. They'll be out in a second. Hear their little squeaks. I didn't think that through. I'm going to sit down with a really wet bottom now. Oh well, worth it. I have to say I'm quite tempted to just sit there for the rest of the morning. You can watch the sunrise. Well, sun has risen. I'll just sit here and enjoy myself. Marvellous news. I thought I heard the sounds of Wendy's engine. It seems as though I was correct and Taylor's back.
I'm so happy to be back too. And Jamie, I hope that you've had lots of fun trying to habituate that group of dwarf mongoose. Yes, Ferg and I raced on straight back to Djuma. Here we are. And look at who we've got as a welcome party. Don't fly away. You have no idea the morning we've had red-billed hornbill. How dare he? Very, very, very rude to fly off of the road. He was sitting so beautifully just up on the tree. There he is. And I suspect that we're going to see many different types of birds. WildEarthTV Dam. There's a number of them, and of course the red-billed hornbills are very popular around here. We might even get the yellow-billed hornbills, and if you listen very, very carefully, there's many turtle doves making a noise here, and I wonder if this hornbill's not listening to them. They're overpowering its voice at the moment, though. Where's your mate? That's the other thing I'm looking for. Typically they're gregarious. And you don't actually just even see two of them. You can see up to 10 of them all together in one go. But not this morning. I think... No, I'm seeing lots of other birds. There we go. Nice. Also starting to call. You might be able to hear it. And of course it has now stopped. But that's a very good spot to be balancing right on the edge of that variable bush willow. And the reason is... That's a big yawn. You actually hear a chorus of birds. I'm going to sit quietly for just a moment. Aren't those sounds incredible? Now, of course, the one that you can hear dominating at the moment, that is not the red-billed hornbill. They sort of make a sound that goes... But I don't think I said anything very nice because it looks as though he's giving me the evil eye at the moment. But it is a good spot to sit up there because it is getting the nice morning sun and warming up quite nicely, which I'm going to do in a moment. I'm going to pretend I'm a reptile or a bird and sunbathe. And it's always quite nice, especially after a very cold day. Cold evening, to warm yourself up. So they'll ruffle their feathers. And some birds, like the mouse birds, actually have to sit up and utilize the sun throughout their entire day to help digest their food. So what you'll see with mouse birds doing is you'll see them sort of almost looks like they've reclined back into the tree, showing their bellies to the sun. And by doing that, by warming it up, it increases the digestion process, which is really cool. But we don't see too many mouse birds around here. Every now and then you'll see them flying in squadrons. They're the birds with the very long tails. I shall show you a picture at some point. And we get the red-faced mouse birds. I can hear Jamie! Hello, Jamie, standing by for you. I'm chatting to Jamie. Jamie would like to know what my route is going to be. Jamie, I'm going to do a birding thing down here at WildEarthTV Dam. So I'm just going to hang around here for some time. There we go. So there we go. Jamie's going to go towards Gallagher side. We'll hang around over here. Okay, we've got one bird down. It seems as though we're doing a birding challenge. Let's see who else we can get. Where's the turtle dove? I can hear one calling. I have no doubt that we're going to see many turtle doves. They like to sit up on dead trees, any types of trees. Let me just scan for one very quickly. Now, of course, there's nothing sitting on this tree. Can you believe it? There's always birds up in this tree. Right, let's go to the dam. Let's sit on the dam wall, and then we'll see if we can see anything from there. Oi, down we go, a little bit bumpy. I thought we were going to tick off about 4 or 5 birds in one go, but then, of course, when I wanted to show you the rest, they'd all now flown away. Ah, good. I can see some ripples on the water, and they don't all just look like insects, so I think we'll have some luck here. Here we go. So should we start with the ducks? Let's start with the ducks that are all sitting in a row. And as you can see, they look like our family of white-faced whistling ducks, Mum and Dad with all of their ducklings, getting ready for a morning swim. Now, they're very brave. I don't know how brave I would be to go into that water at this time of the day. I suppose that is why a lot of these birds have got down feathers to keep them nice and warm. And, of course, their coats also repel the water. So it's not as though they're getting drenched. Whereas if I were to jump in, every sort of bit of my clothing would absorb all of that freezing cold water. And it would not be very pleasant at all. But for birds, of course, it's a little bit different. It doesn't quite apply. But they are really, really lovely. And we actually need to do a count again, because I think the last time we counted, I've now forgotten, but please correct me, I think it was between 13 and 15. It could have been 13. Let me see if I can count them quickly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, wait. Which side would you like to start, Ferg? There. Is that the front of them? Is that the back of them? Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Can we go to the left, please? 8, 9. Okay, we're just waiting for the other. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Wonderful. We've got all 13 still. That's good. So 2 adults, and then, of course, the 11 ducklings. And that was about a week ago that we last counted them, so they're all doing very well. Mr. and Mrs. Whiteface Whistling Duck are sterling parents. Now, that's one of the reasons why sort of ducks and geese do lay so many eggs, is because the chances of survival of their youngsters, unfortunately, is quite slim, especially in an area where you've got monitor lizards, you've got crocodiles, you've got big birds of prey, you've got snakes, you've got many things that would snatch up a duckling, even young leopard cubs or young lion cubs, or even the adults too. If they were starving, they would go for them. And I'm really, really impressed that they've made it all. I would say that the success rate of maybe of these white-faced whistling ducks couldn't be more than about 60%. So we might only see about maybe 7 of them, 6 or 7 of them making it to adulthood, and I hope they do. I actually hope all of them do, because I love the white-faced whistling ducks, and I don't think we have enough of them. We see them here and there. At one point we were seeing a pair at Red Dam, and then there was also once I spotted them at Chitwa Dam, and then of course here at WildEarthTV Dam. But other than that, I haven't really seen too many of them. But they are really, really, really stunning birds, aren't they? Now, Regi, you're wondering if ducks are prey for bigger animals and vultures, and they are indeed. However, out here, the vulture species that we have, unfortunately, don't have the tendencies to hunt for themselves. They are strictly scavengers, but if you go down to the Cape, the Eastern Cape of South Africa, the Cape vultures is one of the few. I think that there's 2 species of vulture, but I've now forgotten which is the second one, that can hunt if they need to, but the Cape vulture is one of them. But it's quite uncommon. Vultures are so good at scavenging. They fly incredible heights. But yes, if there was a dead duck, they would most certainly feed on it. And oh, hang on. I'm going to draw your attention away from the birds for the moment. There's an entire herd of impala racing down, being chased by a big male. There he goes. They've all come from Mvubu Road, out of the long grasses. Now, where's the big ram? Because I haven't seen him. I've just seen lots of girls and young boys who are going to be in a lot of trouble when the ram catches up to them. And off they go again. How cool is that? So it's not just the white-faced whistling duck. I did see a blacksmith lapwing. Now we've got to see if we can find it. Let's play Where's Wally with a blacksmith lapwing. Well, we're going to keep on searching for birds. We've only added 2 to our list, but we will definitely add a few more. It seems as though Jamie's jumped on the bandwagon and she's also found herself a bird.